9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Blast off. 0. I can't help but think about that every time we get that little countdown. Richard.
Yes.
Did you watch just in time?
Really, Perk, we're live. We're live, okay?
I'm on time.
No, you on time. But I'm saying, like, I'm just telling you we live. Like, not like, oh, I don't want any I don't want any moments of like, wait, we live? This is real? This is the stream?
Yeah.
We don't want any of that. You know who we talking about.
Okay. Y'all's version of on time is so different than my version of on time. We called it rocket time in college. If you were on time,
you're late.
You're supposed to show up.
Right. If you're on time, you're late. And that's my apology. That's my apology.
No.
Boom.
You're doing all the things.
You went from Sports Center over? Do you have that cap on for Sports Center?
Yeah, you want to see it real quick?
No. Don't mess with what you got. Don't mess with what you got.
Okay, Perk. Gosh, when I sent the text, what was it? First quarter, maybe? No, second quarter. After the Celtics were up 9-0, and then the Pacers won a 46-27 run to take an 11-point lead at half. Your response was loading.
Yeah, because I didn't know what to say. I just wanted to watch the game. I didn't know what to say at the moment. I was like, are the Pacers really going to beat the Celtics? And I was like, hell no, they're not going to beat the Celtics. I knew the Celtics were going to make a run. You didn't think they was going to make a run?
No, it wasn't that, but we can't say that.
Were going to beat them.
But really quickly, though, Perk, we saw them lose to a Miami Heat team without Jimmy Butler, without Terry Rozier, right? And I'm not saying that they were going to win the series, but I'm saying to say that Indiana couldn't steal a game without their best player, we had seen those Boston Celtics throughout the postseason, throughout the season. So that's why I'm saying, like, for you to be like, oh, I knew they was going to make a run. Oh, I knew they weren't going to get blown out. But at the same point in time, they almost lost that game to Cleveland without Donovan Mitchell, right? Like in Cleveland. So it was like, I've seen enough from the Boston Celtics that tell me that at any point in time, a team can get hot and it just becomes one of them games.
No, I'm with you. I just knew they had a run, and I didn't know if Pascal, Siakam, Nembard, TJ McConnell, was they going to be able to continue to go like bucket for bucket with those guys. But let's be real here. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this. Rick Carlisle blew 2 of those games in this series. Rick Carlisle smoked
for the same reason?
Huh?
For the same reason?
So game 1, we know the mistakes that they made. He took blame for game 1. Game 2, you don't have Tyrese Halliburton on the floor. The score is what you down. Well, it was tied. It was you down
3.
1.
Down.
No, you're down 1.
Oh, before that. Yep, down 1.
They got the steal.
Yep.
You got to call a timeout. You got to call a timeout. You got to get a play drawn up, get the team settled down, and call a timeout at that moment. If he call a timeout, that turnover don't happen. I understand he want to, he got trust in Nembard. He had been playing well. You want to push the pace, not let the Celtics.
I didn't like what Perk was saying anyway, to tell you the truth. Perk, next time put your shit on Do Not Disturb, right? Okay.
When he was talking
Somebody's
about
FaceTiming him. Okay, but to the point, I was screaming at my television. Once was it Nembhard got the ball. I got you, Perk. Once Nembhard got that ball past half court, because once he takes a dribble, you can't call a timeout because then you got to take it from there. I guess the idea is that we can go fast, but once you got past half court, I was screaming timeout. You're going one-on-one against the best individual defender. Pick that bone clean. Just held down, body position, popped it out, and kept going. That's Drew Holiday. I promise you, in my prime, I would have pulled that bitch out, right? And not because it was the moment in which he had it. Drew had the angle on him. There wasn't any outlets. You had one timeout, and there was 3 seconds to go. Call a timeout. You were going to shoot, because if he would have gotten to the lane, he would have shot that shot. That was the end of the game. You had a timeout in your bag. That was the end of the game. There wasn't enough time. Get it across, call a timeout. I was screaming timeout before the steal. Before the steal even happened.
You played for Rick Carlisle.
Yes.
Were you like, respectfully, like, Are you surprised by the decision making down the stretch?
Yes, Rick Carlisle is a very good coach.
Yeah.
He's a quirky guy. He's a quirky
Right.
guy. Don't get me wrong. I love Rick. You know, you have your battles with him. I know stories about, you know, even when J Kidd and him first got together in Dallas, there was some, you know, kind of battle. You know, I saw him, like, he knows his stuff. I don't question him. I don't question his knowledge of the game. He's one of those guys. But that doesn't mean that, like, a great player can miss some easy buckets. A great player can miss a game-winning shot. A great coach can make a mistake, and they're not absolved of that. And in that moment with the young squad, I could see I was screaming timeout at my TV when as soon as he got it past half court, I was screaming timeout. He makes the move. I'm like, timeout, timeout. Drew picks him clean. My kids are freaked out that I'm screaming.
Here's what's crazy, and I want to like break it down because we can also bring in the play that we were just looking at. Jayson, whenever you get a chance, the final possession. This is what's like, to your point of like the intelligence. No one's questioning that in terms of, you know, what Rick Carlisle has done. But look at this final, like, despite everything that happened right before this, they still had a freaking chance.
This was a real good play, to be honest with you.
It's
right?
10 out of 10 plays.
It's
I can't even front. That was a hell of a play.
As soon as I saw it, the angle, I was like, wait, why are they showing it? Like, I was like, they're like, this is gonna be tough. This is gonna be tough. That was a tough angle. Now, look, that's still a difficult shot. You're sprinting into a corner and three, but you have time. And the goal in that moment is to get separation. And sometimes it's hard to get separation when you're trying to inbound it on that half court because you have that half court line. When you back it all the way up to full court, now you have more space and separation, more opportunity to cause confusion, right? In football, they call it a short field. When you get on that goal line, there's only so many plays you can run. But when you at like 10 yards, there's a whole different situation. So for them to take it out of a goal line and give themselves some extra space to cause confusion, that's what I'm saying. Rick Carlisle is special. He knows the game.
Right.
One championship.
He just cost them 2 games in this series. Like one could really argue that the Pacers are supposed to be up 2-1 in this series.
One could easily argue that. That is the argument.
When you think about that, obviously, it comes down to the details when it comes to the postseason. I was actually listening to Chris Paul talk about it. When you look at even on the other side, I mean, the other side with Dallas up 2-0, that's been decided by 4 points, both games. I mean, you think about the little things, the possessions, and then you look at this series and that opportunity to say that the Pacers had a chance to be up essentially 2-1. I asked you, and Perk, you questioned it after game 1 and how that one kind of folded. And then this one, obviously, you got the game from McConnell. You got the game from Nembard. How tough is this one now to respond? What are you going to get in game 4?
Well, one is not like, if I'm Rick Carlisle, I give the team an off day tomorrow. Like, you come in, get treatment, because there's no reason to watch film. Like, what are you watching film about? Like, in all honesty, it's like we got to show up. We either got to have our pride, like we got to show our pride, and we got to come out there and perform. You know, watching this postseason, I get it. We're watching. Let me say this: we were worried how the postseason would look, especially as we got deeper into the postseason, how it would look without Bron, Steph Curry, and even Kevin Durant. Right? We haven't skipped a beat. The league haven't skipped a beat. It's been entertaining. These young stars are flourishing. They're shining. All that. But the one fucking thing that's been bothering me, right, is these little mistakes and these turnovers. Like, Allie, real talk, we used to, on all the teams that I was on, every single team that went to the finals or conference finals, any team that like I was on that was considered contenders, we used to go over little plays after practice that was like just simple plays of inbounding the basketball. Like, and I don't see that. Like, to say these games are coming down to, like, you know, whether or not a team could take out the basketball or, you know, could like hold on to the basketball in crucial times, is like, I get it, they're learning, but damn. And even watching the Minnesota game last night, I even tweeted it. I'm like, look, McDaniels, he either need to shoot the corner 3 or look to drive and to score for himself. When he's trying to be a playmaker, it's a turnover waiting to happen. Like, I'm watching right now, too many role players have too much freedom. Even when you look at the Celtics, their starting five are going to be the best starting five in basketball. That's what they've been. But if you look at the Celtics bench tonight, Allie, they fucking suck.
30. What did I see? 32-4 or something?
Yeah, but now TJ McConnell was ball. But look, okay, first of all the hate that we get from Boston, and
yeah,
Jayson
they need
Tatum,
their love.
36.
He balled out.
8, 1, 2, and 0 turnovers. That dime to Al Horford feeling the pressure out with a minute to go. I was like, okay. And look, Jayson Tatum, outstanding game. He's going to he won't get nearly the love. He'll get all the hate if he has a subpar game and they win. In this game, it won't be about how Jayson Tatum was the best player on the floor, led his team. It won't be any of that conversation. I got you, JT. But look, my big thing is this. The Celtics, they are just one of those teams. But at the end of the day, when it gets down to play after play after play, they have more guys that will make the right play. That could have been Derrick White making that steal. That could have been – they're not even at full strength. They're missing Porzingis, who is an all-star. In a position, he's not like a duplicate where it's like, oh, you're missing Jared Allen and you got Evan Mobley, so you're missing some depth. No, he is a unique special player to their team that makes them go from an A- to an A+.
Yeah,
that's how deep and good they are, and it's their championship to lose, regardless of whoever. I'm with you, bro.
Perk, I texted you that the other day. What did I tell you? What?
What'd you say, Allie?
I texted Perk that the other day. Look, everyone knows, I never played for the Celtics. I didn't score a single point for them. I'm not a fan of the Celtics. I'm a born and raised Ohio girl, root for the Cavs all day, in and out. But the Celtics have zero excuse to lose this whole thing.
Jayson Tatum is under the most pressure, and the Boston Celtics are under the most pressure. It's championship or bust. Mm-hmm. It's no other way around it. Like, completing a mission with this team, they have five guys. When Kristaps Porzingis is starting, 5 guys are all-star caliber players in a starting 5. And this is, I know it's going off topic and going all over the place, but I feel like it's something that we need to address because I haven't seen y'all since this happened, right? Everybody was pissed off about Jaylen Brown not making the All-NBA team. And I'm like, he averaged 23 points this year, right? His points per game dropped from last year. He was at like 20, close to 27. And I'm like, when you have this type of personnel and you have a championship caliber team like they have, right, the favorites, then you're going to sacrifice individual accolades. It's part of it. Somebody, like the word sacrifice, like don't take that for granted. You're going to sacrifice, and that's part of it. But when I look at their team, there's no other way around it. It's championship or bust. Now, I will say this. They need to get Kristaps Porzingis back because going against probably Dallas or even Minnesota, somebody off the bench is going to have to step up and play like elite consistent minutes.
This is my theory about Porzingis. If this was the finals, he could play.
You think so?
They know that they don't need him for this series. They know that even if he's not 100, even if he's not in great condition, they're like, bro, we didn't need you last series. We look at this like if this was tied 2-2 and Indiana was balling, I could see Porzingis come at the end of this series. Just hypothetically, we're playing the medical game, right? I don't know this to be factual. But if you had Porzingis and it's like, bro, why would we start playing you now when we feel like we can get you rest until June 6th?
Right.
What's today? Today's the 25th.
Yeah.
If we could get you game rest until June 6th, we feel a lot better about our team. You might be out of rhythm. You might be this and that. But by game 3 and 4, we expect you to be kind of yourself of the finals. So you could put him in a position where it's like, we don't need you. That's what I'm saying. 12 more days of rest. They were talking about, he could possibly come back. It's like, why would you come back in a 3-0 series? Do
you think that he was coming back because he was ready or because they were thinking that they needed him?
I think he was getting closer to being ready, and it was a normal ramp up. If this series would have gone 6 or 7, I think we would have seen Porzingis. But when you see that you have a potential for 3-0, right, all of a sudden you're in a good spot. I've seen that in other series. When the Clippers won game 1 without Kawhi, did they win game 1 without Kawhi in their first round?
Yeah.
They won game 1 without Kawhi. So I was walking out of the locker room and a Clipper player, I was like, how you feel? They're like, I feel like we bought Kawhi another day. Right? Like they felt like, oh, we don't need him yet, so he can keep resting and getting close. Because like when he steps on the court, I'd rather him be 92% than 87%. And these extra days allow for that. So that's one positive thing for Boston. And I think Porzingis is going to be better than we expect. He just won't be in great condition.
I was just going to say it's an interesting thing. And obviously they only know how well he is obviously recovering because he has missed 9 games. He hasn't played since game 5 of that Miami series. And does your first game back want to be in the NBA Finals? If you were healthy and had an opportunity and a potential to come back before?
What do you think, Bert?
And that's real though. Like you could think about this for a second. The only way he's gonna get like real basketball reps is at practice playing against the guys at the end of the bench and some of the coaches. Right. And Allie is right on this, RJ. Like, do you want to miss an entire like month in like a week or something like that, a month and 7 days, and come back at the highest level of basketball, which is probably looking like the Dallas Mavericks? First of all, you know how many storylines that fucking shit is gonna have? you know how many storylines that's gonna have? Kyrie back at Boston, Kristaps
KP back in Dallas,
former team. You know, him and Luka ain't really saying out. That's a lot of storylines. But look, here's the thing. The Celtics are in position to hang banner number 18.
I agree. There's no disagree. Like, it's one of those things. It was no different than, to me, the gap between them and everyone else is the same as the gap between the Warriors when they had Kevin Durant and everyone else. That is when I say this, is not saying that they're as good as that team. Because remember, Bron and the Cavs were right there. The KD and the Warriors, there was still a gap between the second best team. There was a gap. So what I'm saying is that we haven't seen a gap between the first best team and the Boston Celtics. The gap between the second best team is pretty big, right? It's pretty big. It's not like huge. It's not huge, but it's big enough that like the Celtics look like they're going to run through without Kristaps Porzingis. We believe that they can probably still win the championship without him. And if he shows up, they should be, without a doubt, the best team on the floor. Like, I'm sorry, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, and whoever else they decide to go big with versus the bigs of Minnesota or
7
Dallas.
threes from Al Horford.
What?
7 threes from Al.
We saw him game 1 of the finals.
Allie, he's like RJ. He's fucking like 5 years. He's 5 years away from being eligible for his pension and killed today. Look, Al Horford was sniping today on the road. But you know what's crazy? It's the trust.
The Godfather.
It's the trust. Like we was talking about, RJ, you brought up that behind the back pass that Tatum made. That was to Al Horford, right? It's the trust that like, nah, Big Al, we know you gonna knock this down. Those timely buckets. Al Horford has been huge. He's low-key been a leader in that locker room.
Yeah, that was big. I mean, that was big time. Okay. Because I don't want to keep you guys too long. It's a Saturday night on a holiday weekend. But we have to discuss, and it's Channing's fault. Now, granted, Channing is with family. That's why he's not here right now. However, he was about to have his moment, his one shining moment. He hit up our text chain after game 1 when Dallas beat the Timberwolves. He wanted you guys to know his thoughts. And then they steal game 2. He picked Dallas to win this series. Perk, do you know that Luka has outscored Ant 65-40 through 2? Rich, do you want to defend yourself? Because I believe everyone thinks that you picked Ant being the guy in this series over Luka as well. I think they
Yes, 100%. Let's talk about this. What did I say? My exact words were this. Luka is the best player in the series. I don't know if he will play the best. You can be the best player in the series and not play the best. We saw it in the Dallas Mavericks series versus OKC. Luka was the best, most talented player in that series. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander played the best. That's the difference, right? I'm not saying Luka wasn't the best player in the series. I said that. I just didn't know, based off of how hobbled he was, the defenders that Minnesota had, that he would play the best. And he has played the best and has not. End of story. I stand by every word that I say.
Screwed Screwed God Texas, maybe is what that means. Just rewatched. Oh shoot. Just rewatched videos where RJ said Dallas Bigs would struggle.
I thought they would. First of all, let's not go 2-0. Because remember how Minnesota got there. Let's not just go 2-0 and now it's like, oh, they're look.
How are we feeling about it?
No, I'm wrong so far. I did not know. I didn't know. Look, I didn't know Luka was gonna come out and be doing the things that he's doing on one leg, right? I didn't know he was gonna be doing that, and I didn't expect a rookie and Derrick Lively to be outplaying Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy. I did not expect it. I'm serious. I did not expect a rookie to be outplaying Karl Anthony Towns so bad that he was benched in the fourth quarter. He was benched in the fourth quarter. Now, Anthony Edwards, this is another thing I need to address about Anthony Edwards. He's going to go through some growing pains, right? Name me a player that went this deep in the postseason without going through growing pains outside of Magic Johnson.
At 22.
Outside of Magic Johnson, right?
At 22 years old.
It happened to Braun. It happened
MJ,
to Jayson Tatum. It happened to
Kobe,
all the elite guys. They hit a wall and fell. He knocked out the Phoenix Suns, the defending champs. Okay, you get here. And this is another teaching moment. People don't know the mental toughness that you got to have in order to win the NBA championship. I'm looking at Anthony Edwards right now. He's fatigued. It's not just because he's chasing and guarding Kyrie Irving. That plays a part. But going into a long series, going into a deep postseason run, if you never did that before, you don't know no better.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
You don't know any better. And he's been asked to carry a heavy ass load, especially with Karl Anthony Towns playing the way that he's playing. He's seeing boxes in the elbows. He can't get in the paint, right? He's chasing. He's defending Kyrie, and shout out to him. People want to crucify Anthony Edwards for calling Kyrie Irving out, and then Kyrie busting his ass in game one. But at least he embracing the challenge. I thought that's what we wanted. We wanted our star players guarding one another. That's what we've been asking for. Now when somebody actually give it to you, you want to criticize them?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's what the world wanted.
No, No. He wants that smoke. We know he wants the smoke. Enjoy the smoke.
Tell me a center.
I'm saying
who?
No, I'm saying Anthony Edwards. I don't mind that.
Yes.
I don't mind saying he got Kyrie. That's his boy. He's he was doing the same thing with Kevin Durant. So he's been consistent. So if he's Kyrie, I looked up to him. I want to go at a player that I respect his game. I want to go at him. I'm going to accept that challenge. Today, I might lose that challenge. Tomorrow, I might win that challenge. But that's what I'm going to tell you guys I want. He did the same thing with Kevin Durant. He literally, because old school used to be you don't give a player his flowers. And when you playing against him in playoffs, he was my favorite player. What are you, a fan? No, he was no, he's my favorite player, and I'm going to go at his ass. Yeah. That's what we want. And he did it. So I will say, hey, Ant, Kyrie different, bro. He's different, man. He's different and
he's different on a whole nother level right now.
There's 2-3 of him in the world that you want this smoke? I have smoke for you that you don't see. Now, I'm not saying Ant can't respond. The problem is that Ant ain't scoring back. But look, I'll say the same thing to Boston fans. As a man that has beaten you and has won championship with Kyrie, leave Kyrie alone. Do your booing, do your this. If you guys see Kyrie, leave him alone. Just do your cheer. If you guys poke that bear, and I can tell y'all poked that bear in 01 with my guy J Kidd. That didn't end up well for you. So I'm giving y'all the same advice right now, and you ain't gonna listen. I'm just telling.
Kyrie has one mission. He sees one thing in front of him, and all he cares about are those inside the locker room with him. And it has been beautiful and fun to watch. He doesn't even have to say it. Having said that, really quick, Rich, you mentioned Rudy Gobert. Tell me another center that could have stopped Luka in that possession.
None. Not even Giannis.
For everything that Rudy's getting right now.
Rudy, you do an outstanding job.
Yeah.
Don't let people sitting at home on a panel watching you play. Don't let them change what you do.
Yeah, that's so wrong. I thought last night, I'm like, damn, so Rudy lost the game? I mean, Anthony Edwards had a turnover, right? Right before that possession.
Multiple. Luka hit that step back against everybody in his solo basketball. It wasn't like there was a double team. It wasn't like their mistake. I thought Rudy played good defense. Now, there might be people that want to take shots at him. Draymond. There might be people that might want to take shape. But Dre, honestly, I love you, my brother. We all see through it. We all see that there's like a little bit of an agenda going on. But like at the end of the day, we know for a fact it was kind of like when he was like, well, if I played, LeBron wouldn't go for 40. Those were his exact words. And Bron went for 40 in game 6 the very next game. So come on, defensive player of the year. Come on, guy. Let's just call it how we see it. Look, Rudy Gobert, they might not have won it, but he did as good of a job as anybody. There could have been an individual defender. Luka led the league in scoring, and that was the shot that he got him to contest at the end of the game. He did a good job. Let's stop. Hey, listen. When you come over here, let's stop the agenda, or let's lower the agenda and just throw some shots and digs in there. That's my only opinion to the new media.
You guys are amazing. Thanks, RJ. 100% on Rudy. Luka cooks everyone, especially any center. They should have switched back. They had time.
Zubac still having nightmares.
Dead. You guys.
but Allie, another coaching mistake again, because I would rather anybody else outside of Luka and Kyrie taking that shot isolation. I mean, in that moment, those are teaching moments. And this is, I hate to do it at this moment because he's already so full of himself, but I got to give him some props. LeBron, right? That's the moments when you wish you had a guy like Braun on the floor to like just in those moments who would have just probably like fired and went double Luka, like trapped them, like fuck the schemes. Well, we just went over in the timeout. Somebody else got to beat us. He cannot beat us. Kyrie cannot beat us. We got to send a double team. If that's a wide open look for PJ Washington or a wide open look for who else was on the floor? Was it Tim Hardaway Jr.? Then you tip your hat off to him. But Luka cannot get that shot off.
Yeah, fair. All right, we'll see if obviously that game is tomorrow. If the T-Wolves have some fight left in them, but the Mavs had that 2-0 lead. I'm going to let you guys go so you can enjoy your holiday weekend. For those of you that are in the comment,
we back here Monday?
Ring index finger. It's an Aura ring. Don't sleep on it. Oh. Got it? And then, we'll be back Monday after Eastern Conference Finals Game 4.
Subscribe,
we'll be
bitches.
here. Channing will be here too. Bye, guys.